Hey friend, I'm back with another ball from the Harry Potter Miniverse Back to Hogwarts series. This will be my third ball I'm opening, so let's go ahead and choose from all the balls I have left. Let's do this one here. And we'll find our pinhole, which is right here above the Y in Harry. So let's open it up and see what this pinhole will get us. I started off again by building my table and putting my ball together before finding out that I got the Slytherin Scarf today. And this is one of the things that will be used to make our scarf. And then I got this cute little envelope with a Hogwarts sticker on it. And it's an accessory kit for our Slytherin scarf. It's got the needle, comb, and a patch inside of it. So let's take a peek and see what they all look like. So yes, we have our plastic needle here that we'll be using to make our scarf, as well as two green Slytherin patches. We also have a threader and then we have our comb. The only thing we have in our utensil bag today are these little legs for our outer ball. And next we have this item that is wrapped in a newspaper, and it is a little notebook with the Slytherin house crest on it. In our next blind package, we have our yarn that we're going to be using to make the scarf. So we have that roll I just took out, and then we also have this pack that we'll be using as well. According to our instructions, we have 7 pieces of yarn on that roll. We're going to thread our first piece into the needle, and then we're going to use that tool we opened in the beginning and put our scarf base on it before we start the weaving. So first I'm going to grab my roll of yarn, and then I'm going to find and separate my 7 pieces that should be in here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. They are all there. So now I'm going to grab my needle and my threader here. I'm going to stick my thread into the threader, and then I'm going to stick the threader into the needle hole and pull through to thread my needle. I've never said thread so much in my life. So now we can grab our scarf base, and then we're going to grab that tool and put our scarf base onto it. The first thing we have to do is tie a knot onto the scarf. So we're going to go on the second string, that's what the instructions said, and then we're going to tie a knot around it to get started. Once you've done that, you can continue weaving over and under each string to create a scarf. Now, I did skip ahead a little bit, as you can tell, because I was having a little trouble in the beginning, just getting started and getting the hang of it. But eventually, it started getting easier as I kept going. So I'm weaving over, under, and then I pull the needle all the way through, and then I use the brown comb to push the thread down to keep the scarf looking really clean and preventing any gaps between the yarn. It gets a little trickier as you're reaching the end because the needle is kind of thick and then you're running out of room to thread it through. But once you start reaching the end, then you can start tying it off so that you can move on to the next section. So right now, I'm taking it and I'm trying to thread it through each other to kind of create a knot. I find out later that my knot wasn't very well, so I'll show you later on how I end up making a better knot in the end and finishing it off. So I started with the same way. I made the knot on the second string, and then I'm going over, under, and pulling it through. And as you can see, my scarf base moved from this tool, and so I had to kind of adjust it, and it keeps doing that throughout the whole time that I'm making this scarf. And it was so stressful to do, honestly. Like, it was really weird. This was stressful, but at the same time it was therapeutic to do. I think it would be really fun if I had a better needle and a better tool, that's the silver tool that it's sitting on, to hold it in place better so that it would stay tight, because it just kept falling off and then I kept having to readjust it and it was taking me so long to do. But other than that, it is really easy. You literally just have to weave over and under and over and under and pull through. So it is satisfying to do. It was just getting so annoying because it kept popping off. I'm continuing to improvise as I go. So as you can see, I have some strings already attached in the next portions that I need to do. I'm doing the last one right now. I'm tying it like the instruction says. You tie a knot on the second string, and then you take your scissors and you cut off the excess string that is hanging there. And now I have my 4 strings ready in my next sections so that I can just continue doing what I've already done in the past 3. So I'm going to take my next section and I'm going to thread it through the threader and then take my threader through the needle hole once again to thread my needle so I can get started in this 4th section. And I'm pulling most of the thread through the needle now to start my threading. And so I sped this part up a bit, but again, I'm going over, under, and pulling all the way through. And every time I pull through, I use that brown comb to push my thread down together to close the gaps between the thread on each layer. I have to speed this part up for you because it literally took me so long to make this scarf, okay? So I'm threading my needle once again for the very last time. I did skip ahead, but now I'm in my last section here. And like I said, it just took me so long. I want to say this whole scarf took me like 2 hours to do because a lot of it in the beginning, I was just kind of figuring it out and trial and error. And it was just crazy. Like the scarf keeps falling off of this silver tool. And oh my goodness, it was a lot of work, I must say. Like, I can't even imagine having to make a real life size scarf for myself. And you wanna know what's crazy? I'm gonna have to do this again because there is a Gryffindor scarf in this collection as well. So wish me luck, guys. I'm pulling through my yarn on the last section here, and then I'm gonna show you how I ended up tying it off. So I already looped my thread through one time at the edge, and then I'm going to send my needle through that loop that I left open. So I'm pulling it tight, but I found that this wasn't creating a tight enough knot. So I ended up just using my lighter and burning it right there. And burning it is going to seal that end so that it can't go through anymore. And it just gets rid of the extra as well. It burns it right off. So I did do that for all of my sections and they stayed on really nicely and it came out very, very cute. And after all that labor of love, I can finally put my Slytherin patches onto my scarf. These are sticky, so it was really easy. I just had to peel and stick them onto the scarf where I wanted them. Adding the patches onto this scarf really does seal the look and bring the whole thing together. I really love how this turned out. Even though it took me 2 hours to make, I think it came out absolutely perfect. I have someone who would actually fit this scarf perfectly. Let me go see if they'd want to try it on. My little labubu absolutely slayed this scarf look. Am I right? Come see what item I open next. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.